Welcome. We have a few different assignments this week that are all looking at how our life experiences can influence attachment and influence how well we're doing. And we're going to be wrapping up our discussion of working as a team to support our learners and really to support ourselves. A big part of working on a team that we've talked about includes building within your school or your system multi-tiered systems of support. That means what types of differentiation and tools and strategies can we do in the classroom for all of our learners to meet their needs? For some of our learners, when we start having to meet more formally as a team and to look at additional supports we can give for them, such as when they're moving into tier 2 or even tier 3, where we're bringing in additional experts. As much as we can bring the children into the conversation, the better, especially as they get older, and certainly their family members as well. So how do we create those teams? Part of it is also making sure that we take time to get to know each other and get to know that we're all on the same page. We're all on the same team, truly wanting whatever is best for our learners. When we look at things like how children are doing, how they're bonding or attaching with us, this goes into the same types of attachments that we see in adulthood as well. They can be notoriously sticky, meaning that when we're struggling to attach, that can tend to stay with us. And also when we're securely attached, it can stay with us. But we have the ability to change how those attachments are happening as well. And so we can help students and children develop what's called an earned secure attachment, meaning they might not have felt very secure before, but we can do that for them. And that takes time and that takes being our best selves, and also surrounding ourselves. If I'm struggling with my own attachment as an adult, what do I need from my environment? And in order to have a more secure attachment, we need to feel safe. And we can think about all the things physically, emotionally, verbally, that we can do as adults and as children to feel safe in our environment, to feel seen so that I'm heard, I'm valued, I'm respected. Think about what things we may or may not be doing in our classes right now to make a child truly be seen, right? I see you, I understand you well, not literally just seeing, like keeping an eye on, but really seeing the whole person. And then soothed. Do I have a soothing environment? Do I have strategies to help myself soothe? Do the children have those strategies? These are things that we can do. Think about those three S's again to help support and nurture a more secure attachment. Remember with the teams, it's what I shared before. We're going to have a wide variety of teachers, teaching assistants, paraprofessionals, counselors, um, other leaders, it could be doctors, certainly family members. And we're going to wrap up that discussion of what would happen if we had an RTI or a response to intervention with an MTSS team. There are 5 scenarios you're going to look at today. I wrapped up, I pretended we tried one last intervention with each, and you'll see where they're at. Is it at a scenario where we should just continue to monitor, but it's looking good as is, or where we should try something else? And you're simply going to, within the document that's posted this week, write down next steps. That can be handwritten or typed. There are 5 different brief scenarios on this handout that you're going to look at. What I want you to remember when you're teaming as a matter of something to always do, right? We're going to first figure out what is our goal for that child? What are the problem behaviors? We talked about doing functional behavioral assessments as part of our behavior support plans as well. We're going to look at all the data we have to try to come to a conclusion of what the next good step or strategy is. We're going to implement that, and then we're going to evaluate whether or not it's been effective. Remember that that's often, I would say every 2 to 3 weeks. You want to give it at least a week, right? But we need typically a couple weeks to try something to know whether or not it's going to work. So don't just try a strategy one day and then after 2 days say, oh, it's not working, and throw it to the side. Stick with that strategy for a couple weeks with fidelity, meaning you're not trying other stuff. You're going to try your best with this to see if it works. But we're not going to spend months on it or forget about it and keep doing it if it's not helping. So we need enough time to see whether or not it's going to help. And once we know either it's helping, terrific, or it's not helping, it's time to try something else. We're going to move up those tiers of supports that are needed to the more intensive ones if needed, or stop, right? Keep accurate records about what is or isn't being tried and what is or isn't working. Keep that in a, I've done it both electronically and paper because I'm a little old school. I like having both, but you're going to keep that. So what happens if you leave and the next school year this problem occurs again? Someone isn't starting over from scratch, wasting valuable time with the child. Rather, they can look at all the notes, see that what has worked in the past, or maybe what's already been tried, so they might want to try a different strategy. Keep that documentation. And then you're going to continue to monitor that. So it's very easy to kind of stop, and you might not need to monitor for long if a child continues to do well, but you are going to keep a little closer eye for a little bit to make sure that that progress that has been made has been continued. It takes a team effort. It's not something we can do on our own. If you are all by yourself, at a school center or maybe in an in-home childcare, think about maybe another professional or another parent that you could at least bounce ideas off of so you're not operating in a vacuum and having to think of all the strategies on your own, but rather have a bit of a team. Same with talking with the families you work with or any other professionals you can. Sometimes these classes are a great place to do that, where you can talk to other people in the field to get ideas as well. Hang in there. It's our second to the last week, and I really look forward to seeing all your work again this week.